This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
Concerns about the coronavirus, also known as COVID-19, are impacting downtown events in Indianapolis. Good evening, I'm Nicole Griffin. The State Department of Health announced the state's first case of the illness, a Marion County man who is now in isolation. RTV6 reporter Kara Kenny is finding out the steps that some businesses are now taking.
Health officials recommend washing your hands, covering your cough, and staying home if you're sick. What they're not recommending is canceling big events, but some organizations are choosing to do it anyway. The fight for air climb means huffing and puffing up 47 floors, all to raise money for lung disease research, education, and advocacy. This was supposed to be the 12th year for the event, but Salesforce postponed the climb following the announcement from the governor Friday.
I have just signed and declared a public health emergency.
The American Lung Association in Indiana says it wasn't their decision, but rather the host sponsor's call.
It is disappointing, and we are so sorry, but we're also very hopeful that we'll have a new date soon.
The event website says more than $257,000 has been raised, 3/4 of the way to their goal. The Lung Association is hopeful they can still get there.
Research, education, and advocacy are three, and 88 cents of every dollar goes directly to our programs. So we're very lean and efficient. So every dollar that we get, we use really wisely.
Other downtown events are also being impacted amid concerns about the state's first case of COVID-19. The American Coding Show and Conference, scheduled for March 31st, has also been postponed, even though public health officials have not recommended the cancellation of any mass events. The State Department of Health tells me today the patient with coronavirus is still in isolation and there is no ongoing risk of exposure to the public. And as for symptoms, they resemble many other illnesses: fever, cough, and shortness of breath.
The situation with COVID-19 is changing rapidly, and we can expect to see other cases in Indiana in the future. As this case demonstrates, we are prepared for that possibility, and we will deploy all steps needed quickly to protect Hoosiers.
Despite some postponed events, many people enjoying a clear day in downtown Indy told me they're not too concerned about coronavirus.
If they're willing to take the hit towards whatever business side of things they are, then that's their prerogative, but I really don't think it's something that needs to be taken that seriously.
Sarah Thanevan from Dayton, Ohio, is attending the Ashley McBride concert.
I mean, it's to be concerned over, but so is the flu, and I don't live in fear of things like that, so I just go on and live my life. And if, I'm a firm believer that if it's going to happen, it's going to happen to me, and I could get hit by a car walking here in Indy.
Health officials say if you can't get to soap and water, use a hand sanitizer that has at least 60% alcohol in it, like this one has 70%. Kara Kenny, RTV6.
Kara, thank you. The state's largest nursing home and senior health care provider is taking precautions as well. American Senior Communities is temporarily limiting visitation at all locations between the hours of 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. It's an effort to allow for proper screening of all visitors. Visitors must not exhibit any signs of respiratory infection like fever, cough, or sore throat. Visitors must not have been in contact with anyone under investigation for coronavirus. And lastly, the visitors must not have traveled internationally within the last 2 weeks to restricted countries outlined by the CDC. American Senior Communities tells us they've implemented a task force that is working on or has completed the following things: a resource manual, training webinars, letters to vendors and visitors, as well as screening tools for anyone coming into their facilities. And tonight, a local health network is also responding after learning about the state's first case of coronavirus. There is now a way you can get screened for the coronavirus without even leaving your home. IU Health is launching a virtual clinic for people in Indiana through the IU Health Virtual Care mobile app. It is staffed 24/7 with IU Health staff members like physicians and registered nurses. You will be asked whether you have been to one of the 5 countries listed as level 2 or level 3 status. office. You will also be asked your symptoms and whether or not you have had known exposure with someone who has COVID-19. The clinic eliminates the need to visit a doctor's office or emergency room.
I think what we really hope is that we help people sort of allay their anxiety and fears about this and actually help them stay at home if it's appropriate for them to stay home and get the right care that they need. If they need more care, if their symptoms make us think that they need to be seen, then we get them routed to that. But really it's to just offer this service so that we help the community feel comforted and feel like we're meeting a need that they have.
Based on the results from the screening, IU Health will then recommend and help facilitate the next steps for care. If you think you have symptoms of COVID-19, do not just show up to the hospital. Either use that mobile app or call ahead. They have already had people using that free screening app today. Meanwhile, confirmed cases in the U.S. continue to grow as more state officials take steps to prepare for what may lie ahead. More now from ABC's Lionel Moyes.
More than 105,000 people across 101 countries have been infected by novel coronavirus. Italy's special commissioner for coronavirus announcing the number of people who have tested positive for COVID-19 has surpassed 5,000. At least 45 people testing positive for the virus on board this cruise ship on the Nile River in Egypt, and officials in Bethlehem disinfecting a hotel where 14 Americans are quarantined. Rescuers in China working to free dozens of people trapped after a hotel used as a coronavirus quarantine center collapsed. Here at home, at least 29 states and the District of Columbia have COVID-19 infections, with new cases in California, Oregon, and the first case in Nebraska. A state of emergency declared in New York State, and in Connecticut, health officials say a physician there has tested positive for the virus.
At that time, the physician displayed no symptoms associated with COVID-19.
In Washington state, at least 16 deaths reported, a majority of them connected to a nursing care facility.
When you look at this nursing home outbreak situation, it's about isolating the ill. It's about contact tracing to try to figure out who else may be at risk. And again, testing everyone. The testing is key.
The Grand Princess cruise ship still circling off the coast of California. At least 21 people on board testing positive.
We're just hoping and praying that we test negative and that somehow this ship can get offloaded in time to get home.
Plans to quarantine those passengers on land still not finalized. Lionel Moyes, ABC News, New York.
Lionel, thank you. And throughout this process, our goal has been to educate and prepare you. And health officials say the best way to guard against the virus is to learn about it. We've compiled everything you need to know about coronavirus for you in one spot. Just head to theindychannel.com/coronavirus. Now to your Storm Team 6 forecast. Meteorologist Kyle Mounds standing by. Kyle, we are wrapping up a nice Saturday.
Yeah, it was very nice out there with all the sunshine. Our temperature made it to 50 degrees, and we still sit in the upper 30s. Actually, the same temperature as we were last hour, thanks to this south breeze. I don't think our temperatures will fall a whole lot during the overnight. We do have a couple of cold pockets out there, though. Bloomington, you're one of them, right there at 32 degrees. Meanwhile, it's 41 in the Muncie area. High pressure continues to slide off to the east. That's bringing in more of that southerly wind. You can see there are some clouds off to the west. Those are scooting our way, but no precipitation with them. As you head out the door in the morning, we'll have temperatures in the 30s with some sunshine, and that sun rising an hour later thanks to the time change tonight.
Kyle, thank you. A 26-year-old man is under arrest tonight in Kokomo in connection to a deadly shooting. Kokomo police arrested William Austin Mueller this afternoon. He's accused of killing 43-year-old Dennis Vincent on Friday. Police say Vincent was found on North Purdom Street suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. Investigators say surveillance video and witnesses helped develop Mueller as a suspect. He was arrested in Logansport today. In 2017, RTV6 reported on Mueller. He survived 2 gunshot wounds to his head during a robbery after 2 men took his cell phone and $300. New at 11, one person is dead from a 2-vehicle crash in Lawrence. Investigators say a driver was making a left turn from Pendleton Pike onto northbound McCoy Street when their car was struck by another vehicle. The driver of the first vehicle died at the hospital. That person's name has not been released. An update tonight, the driver of a tanker truck that overturned and exploded on I-70 last month has died. We've learned of the news today, just 2 weeks after that devastating crash. Jeffrey Duke Denman was carrying 4,000 gallons of jet fuel when his truck overturned on the I-70 East ramp to I-465 South on February 20th. Family members say Denman had burns covering 70 to 80% of his body and extensive damage to his lungs. Over the last 2 weeks, he's had multiple surgeries at the burn center at Eskenazi Hospital. In a statement, Jetstar, which is Denman's employer, says, "Thank you for your thoughts and prayers. It is a sad day for the Jetstar family and all that knew Duke." Right now, members of the girls' gymnastics team from Newcastle are recovering from a head-on crash this morning. The crash happened in Bartholomew County, the 17,000 block of East State Road 46. The girls were on a bus heading to their regional competition at Columbus East High School when the bus collided with an SUV. They were all checked and released at the scene, but an assistant coach was taken to the hospital after complaining of pain, but has now been released. The driver of the SUV had to be extricated from his vehicle and was airlifted to IU Methodist Hospital. No word yet on his current condition. Newcastle schools sent us this statement saying, in part, a huge thanks to the administration and staff from Columbus East as they graciously sent a bus to pick up the girls and set up a room at the high school where they could be reunited with their parents. They said the IHSAA postponed the competition until Monday so the girls could compete. The statement also says the bus driver's actions saved everyone on the bus from serious injury with her responsiveness and handling the bus during that incident. They say she has been a driver for the district for 40 years. Today is a day to inspire, engage, and celebrate the people who focus every day on making our neighborhoods better places to live. Neighbor Power Indy is an event that brings together hundreds of people every year, from community leaders to residents and grassroots organizations. It's a chance to find out what's working and duplicate it in other areas of the city.
Real conversations with real people that are in our neighborhoods that are doing the work.
Sitting side by side Saturday afternoon at Marian University are people from neighborhoods all over the city of Indianapolis.
It's an opportunity for everyone in the city to come together and talk about some of the ways that they're combating some of the things going on in their neighborhoods, how they're uplifting voices, how they're connecting, engaging.
The Neighbor Power Indy event is in its 9th year. It's hosted by Indianapolis Neighborhood Resource Center. The group works with neighborhood associations and neighborhood-based organizations across the city by providing training, resources, and support. The goal is to help communities improve their quality of life.
We take what's already working and figure out a way to share that with other people so they can go duplicate those efforts.
Attendees got to choose from 20 different workshops throughout the day. We talked to one of the presenters who focused on getting the youth involved in community projects.
The thing that people need to understand working with youth is they are actually fabulous problem solvers, and it's our responsibility to create space for them to be at the table, and we have to be intentional about reaching out to youth when we're talking about transforming our communities, because they have just as much stake as we do.
It really helped me just think about how we can be more intentional about involving younger folks in decisions that will impact them as adults, because a lot of the types of community development work that happens, it takes 5 or 10 years for things to change sometimes. So if we're not including younger people in the process who are going to be the residents and the homeowners and the workers in the future, it's a missed opportunity.
We also spoke with the executive director from a local nonprofit who attended the event. His company works in 17 different neighborhoods on the near north side.
I can learn what's on the minds of the people we serve and how best to serve them. We can get best practices from other organizations that have made mistakes, that have figured things out. And so it's sort of a learning network on the best practices of how to really truly improve a community.
This year's theme was celebrating 200 years of community. Leaders hope each person left feeling inspired and ready to continue working to improve neighborhoods and the lives of people living in them across Indianapolis.
And part of the goal of Indianapolis Neighborhood Resource Center is to increase neighbor engagement through the city, increase leadership skills in neighborhood leaders, and also increase community building activities in our neighborhoods. By doing this, leaders believe it creates safer and stronger communities. The Democratic candidates for president are back on the campaign trail this weekend. They face another big test early next week. The latest on who's in and who's out.
187.7, only AT&T.
This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
In the race for president, the two Democratic frontrunners are battling it out, concentrating on Midwestern states that have primaries this coming Tuesday. Here's ABC's Uni Han with the details.
With the next round of primaries set for this coming Tuesday, the Democratic candidates and their surrogates are out on the campaign trail this weekend.
He thinks that he's going to win re-election by dividing us up. We are going to beat him because we're bringing our people together.
The Vermont senator focusing on the Midwest, speaking to supporters in Michigan.
And all over this country, people are asking themselves, which candidate can best defeat Trump? I have zero doubt in my mind that together we are the campaign that can beat Trump.
The traditional battleground state has the most delegates up for grabs on Tuesday when voters in 6 states head to the polls. Senator Amy Klobuchar is also in Michigan, lending her voice to former Vice President Joe Biden's campaign. She dropped out of the race before Super Tuesday and then endorsed him.
We are going to build a beautiful blue wall of Democratic votes around the Midwest. And we are going to make Donald Trump pay for it.
Former Secretary of State John Kerry also campaigning for the former vice president.
This man is smiling at you from the wall on both sides. I know him well. He has the ability to get this done. He's going to be the next president of the United States.
Biden continues to ride the momentum after winning 10 states on Super Tuesday. His campaign raising $22 million since Tuesday.
Senator Sanders likes to say he'll need a record turnout to defeat Donald Trump. He's right. And we're the campaign that's going to do that record turnout.
He's also racked up endorsements from 8 of his former rivals. The last female candidate in the race, Hawaii Representative Tulsi Gabbard. She says she's staying in the race despite no viable path to victory. A rule change by the Democratic National Committee will exclude her from the next debate in Phoenix on March 15th. She's calling on the two frontrunners to stand up for what's right and help her get on that stage. Uni Han, ABC News, New York.
Get ready to feel a little more tired Sunday morning. Officially at 2 a.m., most of the U.S. does the spring forward 1 hour into daylight saving time. While the time instantly jumps ahead, it can often take our body clocks a little longer to adjust. Experts say the beginning of daylight saving time is a good time to reset sleep habits to try to get a recommended 7 to 8 hours a night. Kyle.
Also a good time to change the batteries in the smoke detectors and those weather radios as we're getting into severe weather season. All quiet weather, though, here through the rest of the weekend. Our temperatures right now in the 30s as we have those clear skies, and there's that south wind around 10 miles per hour. That keeps our temperatures tonight generally in the lower 30s, about 10 degrees warmer than the lower 20s we had this morning. So that'll feel a little better here as we start off our Sunday, and we will see those temperatures take off once again. Already by 11 a.m. we're in the middle 40s, and we are going to go well into the 50s throughout the afternoon with quite a bit of sunshine once again. Now tomorrow will be a little more breezy. You can see those steady winds as we get into the afternoon between about 10 and 20 miles per hour, and we will have some gusts that will be over 20 miles per hour. Nothing too crazy out there. Actually, as we go into tomorrow night, we'll continue to see those wind speeds increasing a little bit, getting those gusts closer to 30 miles per hour. So that means tomorrow night is going to be even warmer. But tomorrow afternoon, we've got temperatures that'll make their way to around 60 degrees area-wide. 59 for you in Noblesville, but 62 in the Columbus area, 61 in Greenwood, and 60 Rushville into Muncie. Those mild temperatures sticking around in our Monday forecast. We'll have a high around 60, and I think much of our Monday is going to be dry, but we will have the breezy conditions and those rain chances returning as we go into the evening. So here's a look at TrueCast 2 o'clock Monday afternoon. We have clouds, the rain still off to the west. As we get into Monday evening, this is 7 o'clock. You can see really over the western half of central Indiana, we're dealing with some rain there. And that will continue to be the case as we go through the overnight. Fairly widespread rain even into Tuesday morning. Going to be one of those situations where you're going to need the umbrella early in the day. And right now the model's generally coming in about 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch of rain expected here Monday into Tuesday morning. 7-day planning forecast, another chance for some rain showers on Wednesday. Then it looks like we'll dry things out here Thursday, Friday. another chance for some showers next weekend, so off and on rain chances there, but temperatures are going to stay mild throughout. Highs next couple of days around 60, and then we got the 50s through Saturday.
Yeah, so despite the rain, it looks like a nice week ahead.
Yeah, everything is very nice. Yesterday was chilly. Fortunately, that was just a little bump in the road.
All right, Kyle, thank you. A mother's double devastation, losing 2 sons in less than 10 years. Up next, she's turning her healing process into a chance to help others deal with overwhelming grief.
Prices at Ross. Yes, for less.
The loss of a loved one is devastating. Dealing with the grief is a complex process, but 2 sisters, both touched by tragedy, are on a mission to help others heal their hearts. It's a program open to anyone thanks to technology. Usher Qureshi has the story.
That was his first birthday. You look like a baby too with them.
Baby.
Erica Honore's son Austin left a lasting impact.
I woke up looking at pictures, smiling, remembering the times that I had with him.
On this day, what would have been Austin's 24th birthday, pictures are the celebration of a little boy who never grew up.
I wonder what it would look like now. In 2006, my 10-year-old son Austin drowned on a boating trip with my husband on Father's Day weekend.
It was Erica's elder sister Sharon who had to break the catastrophic news.
I was thinking, I don't know anything about grief. What are we going to do? How am I going to help her? Because at that moment, I thought I needed to fix her. I thought, okay, she's broken. I need to help her. So this is the journey I walked with him while he was here.
The 2 of them founded an educational program to learn how to navigate the grief and began helping others find their way through pain.
We don't use the word closure.
But in 2015, more hurt. Erica's other son, Donovan, 2 weeks shy of his 21st birthday, died in a motorcycle accident.
The injustice of the fact that I had lost not only another child, but my friend, I fought against it. I tried to stuff the feelings. I tried to not. I pushed back against everything I knew to be true as a grief specialist.
Together, the sisters worked through another tragedy, forming a new program around grief and loss.
Hi, friends. Welcome to Healing Starts with the Heart, the podcast.
The program is offered to anyone over social media, podcasts, and counseling sessions.
Here's the most amazing thing that I think a lot of people don't understand. Grief is not just for death. No. Grief is any loss that takes place in your heart.
Divorce, loss of a job, or a broken relationship. All say the sisters cause pain.
I have friends who've lost spouses, and I thought, this is not comparable.
For Tamara Moss, the grief came from choosing to sever ties with her biological father.
I was grieving the loss of a father who's still alive.
Even losing someone you may not know personally. The death of NBA legend Kobe Bryant, a collective loss felt by millions.
I didn't know Kobe personally, other than I live in LA, but my heart was broken. It's so important to acknowledge the uniqueness and individuality of grief. I'm a mother who has lost 2 children. I would never walk up to Vanessa Bryant and say, I know exactly how you feel, because I don't.
Most important, they say, is to find a partner, one who will listen.
Just listen, because it's through the talking it and saying it out loud that they start to go, okay, their heart and their brain start to kind of line up.
Reporting from Howe, Texas, I'm Usher Qureshi.
Huntington, welcome.
4,500 pounds of supplies are currently flying high towards the International Space Station. SpaceX launched a rocket carrying materials from Florida's Cape Canaveral Air Force Station Friday night. Usually the supplies include thousands of pounds of food, toiletries, and other items the astronauts need while they live aboard the ISS. This shipment, however, also had dozens of plastic pellets to research how Adidas makes its shoes. They are hoping the research will lead to a better sneaker. It never went to market and is one of the last known copies, and it just sold for a big price at an auction. This Nintendo PlayStation video game console fetched $360,000. The buyer is a video game collector and founder of Pets.com and Toys.com. Nintendo PlayStation came from an eventual failed 1991 partnership between Sony and Nintendo. The console is believed to be the only prototype remaining from it. 200 units were produced before the deal fell through, but an auction. Officials said the other 199 were allegedly destroyed. And as we know, Sony went on to make the PlayStation in 1994.
Tomorrow's a good day to get outside and leave the games indoors. We've got some sunshine, 61, rain chances returning Monday afternoon.
All right, Kyle, thank you. And thank you so much for joining us. Have a great night. See you tomorrow.